This is the App Hour Podcast, recorded December 9th, 2015. Episode 277, Interconnectorama.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
We're back.
Yeah, it's been we were just checking it out. It's been almost a month because of holidays and life.
And various
life.
And I think I was sick one day, or I don't know, something.
Yes.
So, yep.
I think we should announce at the top though that we are planning to do a call-in show next time. Yeah.
Oh, next week. Yeah.
So that
sounds
will
all right
be.
To me. I'll be here.
Let's do some math
Maybe.
here. Today is the 9th. So we normally record on Wednesdays, so that's kind of the different thing. Usually we record on Wednesdays, release on Thursdays. So we will be doing a show on the 16th, starting at, normally we do 6:30 p.m. Start
16th
time.
Australian date.
No, it's
Wednesday. That's Wednesday the 16th.
No, sorry. For you, it'll be Thursday.
Oh, it'll be Thursday. Okay.
Right, just like it is now. Okay,
Are we always recording on Thursdays now?
Right. So, if you'd like to call in, well, it's been a while. If you'd like to call in, it's going to be Wednesday, the 16th, at 6:30 or so Eastern Time. That's 3:30 or so p.m. Pacific Time.
That's Yankee time.
Yeah, in Sydney, it's Thursday, December 17th, at about 10:30 a.m. Everyone else, you can do math yourself and GMT, whatever. I think it'll be, it'll be a little...
It's not really math, it's conversion.
Yeah, it's conversion. I think in the UK, it'll probably be about 11:30 p.m. Germany will be 12:30 a.m. So, it's tough scheduling this stuff, but we're going to try our best here. So just wanted to say that up front because people said last time, oh, well, we didn't give enough notice. You got the whole week to listen to this show and then call in for the next one. So...
Right.
All right.
Can I say something about math?
Sure. Is it something
the term,
nice?
Actually.
Is it
No, it's just, this is one of the ones where I use and I cop flack from the wife for this, for using the American, in quote marks, pronunciation of math. I call it math.
And
right?
does she call it maths with an S on the end?
Mass. Yeah, like it's almost like mass, like the TH is just gone. It's like MASS. It's like.
Oh, I've heard it. I've heard British people call it maths with like the THS.
Yeah, maths with the TH, but in Australia, that's how we're supposed to, in quote marks, pronounce it here in Australia. But because like Australians love to eventually slur their words together, it just becomes mass. And it's a very...
like you're out in the bush and you're talking to your mate about mass. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
mass.
Okay, now this is a dilemma, though. What if you're having a discussion about mass?
It's so tongue-twistery and close to the word mass that I just go, no, I'm going to go
and you need
math.
to do maths on it.
And no S on the end. So,
mass.
It's... Yeah. Hello, McFly. We lost him. He's gonski. He's in a hotel room, and he was just bragging about the internet connection. He was just bragging how fantastic it was, like 20 megabits upload and 10 megabits. Here you go. He's back.
I'm back. Yep.
I'm back. There's no need to edit that. I kept it going
the
true professional that I am.
Yes. I'm in a hotel. I thought it was good internet.
I mentioned that, yes.
Guess not.
And you were just bragging about the connection before the show,
Can't win them all, man. Can't win them all.
No. There is no such thing as a good hotel internet connection. It just does not exist.
Yeah.
In your extensive travels, because you're in, California again?
Yep, I'm in San Francisco.
Why don't you just move there? I mean, you're there every month. How many times you're there?
Yeah, once a month.
At least every second month. Yeah,
a week per month
okay.
usually, yeah.
A week per month. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, travel, man. Travel. It's good. There's people I'm getting to know out here, and that's really nice. And, so I do this meetup out here, too, in San Francisco.
Yep, right.
And that's great. I mean,
So you aren't getting sick of it? You're going, oh, I've got to fly back because it's a fair hike.
It's pretty exciting in Cleveland, but yeah, it's not bad to actually see people once in a while. So.
Okay.
And especially I don't know. I feel like there's people doing hardware everywhere. Like a lot of people, like obviously there's you, and I know like there's people spread all over. It's not like it's actually only here. However,
no,
and because that's what a lot of people, or that's what a lot of media kind of leads you to believe. However, I think it's just the kind of general tech nature of the area that part's kind of nice. I don't know. Some of it's way overdone, but
there's no denying that California is a massive hub, if not the hub. I mean, it's one of the hubs and one of the major hubs.
It's the next Silicon Valley. That's right.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I hate when they do that. Is Cleveland the next Silicon Valley? No, it's not.
Oh, can I have a rant, please?
Sure.
Bloody government, bloody Australian government, right? They just released some new ideas boom initiative, right?
Ew.
Which I haven't looked into it, right? But a lot of people are saying, it's really, it's not bad, right? And I admit, there's, funding for all this, and
the name's bad, but okay, well, give them that.
It's going to be the idea. Because we've had the mining boom here, right? That's what's kept Australia afloat for the last decade or two, right? And the mining boom's over, so now it's like, it's the ideas boom will save Australia, right? And exactly. And anyway, so they've got some new initiative.
Jones is the ideas boom.
Oh man. Anyway, I haven't looked into the details, so I shouldn't say too much about the details. But there's funding, there's tax exemptions for investing in startups and stuff like that. So for startups, it's apparently not bad, right? This new thing, but they've taken away all the research funding from our CSIRO main research organisation in Australia. They've taken all the R&D funding from it, and they've given them funding back, but they're not allowed to spend it on basic research.
That makes sense.
Anyway,
right.
That's just a side rant. I'm off on a tangent there. My main rant is that... What is my main rant?
I don't know, but before you do it, I want to point out how ironic it is that you don't know the ideas behind the ideas boom.
No, I haven't. Sorry, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't looked in it. It's all about startups, right? It's all about the whole startup
Everybody's into
culture.
that stuff. It's really tiresome sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, I know. So anyway, the government's now jumped on the bandwagon, and ideas boom, hashtag. Yeah, great. Whoop-de-doo. I'm doing the finger twirl.
Yep.
Anyway, right. The software company
Atlassian. Yeah.
Atlassian.
Yeah, the big one.
Atlassian. Yes, the big one. Huge. They're about to float, or have they floated?
I don't know.
Anyway, they're a huge Australian company. My mate works for them.
Yep.
And they were going to set up, turn the Australian Technology Park, which has always been a bit of a joke, into the next Silicon, like a Silicon Valley here in Sydney, right? And they had all this proposal, right, to, they were going to move their headquarters there, their new billion-dollar headquarters there. They were going to get all these other companies to join them and move in, right? It was going to be this huge technology hub, right? And so they put in their request to get this site, the government were leasing this site or whatever, and nope. Government went, no, we'll just give it to the bank. We'll just give it to the Commonwealth Bank and they'll move in there. It's like, and then the whole thing just collapsed. Everyone went, well, there goes Silicon Valley.
That was the step that was really the pivotal point there.
And this was just a couple of weeks. They just made this decision a week or two back before this ideas boom thing that they just did. And it's like, well, you just destroyed Silicon Valley and now you want to make an ideas boom?
The ideas boom went boom.
Would
that be the headline?
It went bust.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just
booms and busts. Yeah, I like that. I don't. Ultimately, what it comes down to is you need a lot of people. The money part's important, and that stuff is not what we should talk about on this show. But it's important. But really, what it comes down to is you just need to be able to bring people around. A lot of people, talented people in an area. Ultimately, and
you need big anchor companies like that to.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay.
To start it off. I mean, there's got to be some sort of anchor. It's, it's like for any shopping centre, right, or mall, as you guys, you've got to have the big anchor tenant. You've got to have the Walmart, you've got to have the, the Kmart or whatever, or here it's Coles or Woolworths, right? And if you don't have that, if you don't have the anchor company in there, well, nobody else wants to go there. nobody else wants to open a shop there because there's not,
Sure.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
That's like...
Right, it's just about, that's about critical mass type stuff, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And someone has to take a leap, and oftentimes that is kind of good stuff when there's like investment programs that are around that kind of thing. That's a good thing. But yeah, if you don't get it, you're screwed.
Anyway, so we're screwed. Yeah. The ideas boom. Bust. Oh, God. Anyway.
So I was watching your teardown of that power supply. That was kind of interesting.
Right. Okay. Well, this latest one I just uploaded.
Yeah. You just put that out this morning, right? I think it showed up
last night or something. Yep.
Yeah. I was wondering about that because you even mentioned like none of the stinking SMPS or the switch mode power supplies.
Yes.
Are you seeing a lot of those on bench supplies though?
There are quite a few out there, like the ones, like the high current ones, of course.
Yeah,
because to get like 40 amps and like stuff, like you can't get that from a linear supply to weigh like 20 kilos. You know?
Right.
Like, yeah. So it's not that uncommon because a lot of the cheap ass ones on eBay in these tiny form factors, like the tiny bench supply, and it's 30 volt 3 amp. Yet it's like it's tiny. It's the size of a house brick, and it's just, yeah.
Well, right. And it's noisy as hell and that kind of stuff. But what I was thinking about with that stuff is like, and I'm sure people have tried it, but like, almost like a bucket brigade type of thing for having like capacitor banks. So you do switch cap between, so you have the really high power stuff, you charge up a cap bank, and then you have like a quieter capacitor bank type thing. And I'm just wondering about how big that. I'm guessing the capacitor bank would have to be really, really big.
That's like my micro supply concept. It's essentially a rechargeable power supply.
Right. In your case, the bank would be the battery, effectively, right?
It would be the battery. It wouldn't be a super cap. Yeah.
No. What's the status on that? Is that still in process?
It's an ongoing project. It's been kind of sort of worked on. So, yeah.
No, I think that's a good call, too, because as batteries keep dropping, I think that one's just about power delivery, if you can actually get the power back out of the battery fast enough,
Yep.
But even then, battery voltages being what they are, you don't want to just deliver 3.7 volts or whatever, so you got to kind of...
Yeah, well, you've got to step it up. Yeah, there's got to be, there's got to be a DC to DC converter in there if you want your 20 to 30 volts output. You can't put 20 to 30 volts worth of batteries in there and run everything linear.
Right. But then that just introduces noise again. That's kind of the problem. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's back.
Yeah.
So, meh.
Yeah, I don't know.
But those compromises you just have to. It's.
Yeah,
you can't physically have them.
I love my linear supply because like even the cheapo ones, they're not very well controlled, but they're really quiet. It's just
they're really quiet.
They're quiet
because
you're burning a bunch of power on the heatsink. It's great.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. It's not environmentally friendly, but sometimes you just need clean power.
One of the things about that supply, just see right at the end, if you watch right to the end of the half-hour video or whatever it is, you see that the damn thing had a screensaver. By default, it switched on. Like, why?
Yeah. Well, probably because they burned a couple screens in, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a power supply. It does one thing. It displays your voltage. You don't want it to switch off. It's just stupid.
Well, yeah, especially if you can't control that part. Yep. And it goes off like right as you're looking up at your meter or your power supply rather. Yeah, that's
insane.
Too bad.
Insane. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about doing a retrofit on mine. I've got, like I said, I've got the cheapo. I think it was like $130 shipped. And it could do like, I think similar specs to that one. It could do like 3 amps, 30 volts. Triple output. Super cheap, you
can buy them for under $100 on eBay, yeah.
So
speaking of batteries and shit like this, can we get into a shonky product of the day?
Oh yeah, you just uploaded this, right?
Well, actually, no. There's 2 of them.
Okay.
So this will be the first one. I didn't put this on the list.
Okay.
But I probably should, so you know what I'm talking about. The Stern, is that how you pronounce it? I tweeted it. It the other day, and there's a forum thread on it.
Okay.
Stern is a company. Hang on, I better get it. Emergency charger. Come on, it's on Twitter somewhere. Anyway, they're one of these like free energy, over Unity companies.
Yeah.
They've been around for like more than a decade, and they've been like the poster child for the over Unity crowd, and they've gotten some massive funding, like tens of millions of dollars or something.
Yeah.
And they've never actually released a product, of course, because then the game's up, right?
Right.
And
oh, yeah, I saw this thing. It's like a red... It looks like...
They're back. It's like a red brick. It's like charging your phone, but they claim it can charge your phone forever. Like, once or twice a day, forever.
Right.
And it's like...
It harvests the energy as it delivers the energy.
Right. Well, it doesn't tell you how it works at all, of course. It's just based on the Stern technology or whatever. And this company is like the whack-a-mole of the over Unity crowd, right? It just keeps coming back. Every time you think this company's dead, wham, they come up again. Now they're crowdfunding this thing, apparently. Or no, they're taking pre-sales. That's right. And some university in Europe or something is starting a crowdfunding campaign to actually buy one, because it's like $1,500 or something to buy one of these things, and they want to raise money to buy one so that they can debunk it. It's great. So, we know exactly what's inside this thing. It's a battery, and so. Anyway, check it out. It's hilarious. The Stern something or other. Mac the Chris is gone again. He's gone. Anyway, we should actually try to link in some... They tried to demo... This company, and the guy's name's Sean McCarthy or something. I'm not sure of the guy's exact name, but he demoed their technology, their, over Unity technology, like quite a few years ago. And the video's up on YouTube, and they hired this, technical museum hall or something to do this big flashy smoke and mirrors demo. And apparently, it didn't work, and they made all excuses. And the video's up on YouTube somewhere, and it just died out. But it's funny to watch if you want to watch a classic smoke and mirrors technical a demo of an over Unity thing. This thing's it ticks all the boxes, so we'll have to link that in.
Nice.
And while we're on the topic, can we have a second shonky product of the week?
Sure.
Yeah, this is a is it a crowdfunding campaign? I'm not sure. Anyway, there is some dude who has developed a bike, like it's a generator, a power generator hooked up to a seated recumbent bike or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the claim is that you pedal on it for 1 hour and you can power your house for 24 hours.
What's in your house?
A couple of LED light bulbs, obviously. That's it.
Right.
Because if all you've got to know is one figure, that an average fit cyclist can generate 500 watts peak.
Yeah.
Peak.
And that's
for flat out. And that's flat out for a couple of minutes, right? So even if you were able to do that for an hour, you're only looking at 5.5 kilowatt hours.
Right.
How much your average house takes 8 kilowatt hours. So it's just right off the bat, you don't even need to
throw a single
think
compressor
any
in there
further.
and you're done for, right?
It's it's bullshit, right? So you don't even need to investigate it apart from the title and knowing that one fact, that 500 watts peak. Although I have tweeted, and we'll have to link it in. It's really quite funny. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but they got this professional cyclist with these massive legs, the world's biggest legs, and he, rode this bike for a couple of minutes.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this one before, I think, right?
Oh,
yeah, I think so. Okay,
to see if he can power toast, to see if he can actually cook a toast in a toaster.
Right.
And he managed to do it.
Right, it was like a light toasting, right?
Yeah, it was a very light toasting of this, 700, and he was able to generate 700 watts peak because he's the world's best cyclist.
Right. Yeah, that guy was huge legs.
Yeah. Oh man, he was like tree trunks, and he was dead after a couple of minutes. He was just on the floor, flat out on his back, but he managed to cook his toast. So yeah,
right. Good
luck powering your house for 24 hours and cooking your breakfast.
Right.
Oh, that's just how does this even make headlines
dude,
anywhere?
Come on, man. Read the headlines these days. There's a lot of silliness out there.
So that's 2 shonky products of the week.
Super shonky.
Yep.
What else is going on?
I don't know. I thought you were going to leap into
Yeah, I thought
something
so
because you had
too.
a prepared being
I
a
don't know.
professional.
I wanted to talk about KiCad with you
radio
for a while. The KiCad's out.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah. No, I still need to download the latest version. And,
I actually, so it's up and
try.
running on my Mac.
okay.
So that's interesting.
Right.
I mean, there's been builds for Mac for a while, but this is actually
Right,
So
okay.
people don't know this. The 4.0 release is out, so that's kind of got everything in there. And
So this is like official, rock solid. This is what everyone should use.
Yes.
Don't use anything else.
yes, this is the one to download and use going forward. There's
right.
yeah.
So what's the plan from here? Are they going to continue to is there going to be like a big release every 6 months, every couple of months? What?
I'm not sure about
that
the
everyone should
release
use, or
schedule,
is it-
but but basically up until this point they had done like a feature freeze, and now it's kind of free for all, and the developers
Right.
diving back in and actually
right, fixing bugs and stuff.
fixing bugs, but then also putting new stuff in, and that's the main thing. For a while they weren't, because what it was going on for a long time, it was just kind of like as things came up, they were put in there, but there was never any kind of like stability
Yeah.
testing, just to make sure that they all work together. So then one thing
Well,
can affect
that's-
another.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Like even professional companies like Altium have that huge problem.
Yeah,
Right? Every time they release a new version, it breaks something.
yeah.
And it's like, there's something to be said for a buggy version that
Yeah,
the
true,
devil
true.
you know.
Yep, I agree.
It's
Yeah,
it's-
and the forum's been going well. We're pushing 800 members
Excellent.
on the KiCad forum, and that's been really good.
Cool.
Really good troubleshooting people over there. So that's been really nice, actually. So if people are
Excellent.
thinking about jumping in, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'll wait till something more solid comes out." This is kind of the one. I would say this is it.
this is it. I mean, well, that was the whole idea, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That was the whole push behind this.
And it was a little behind schedule, but it's okay, right? I mean, it's now. So now
That's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some new, some things are going to change in the future for like the schematic program, but again,
What, in terms of operation, how it...
yeah, just like
User interface?
user stuff. So
Right.
yeah,
So is that rendered all your video tutorials obsolete?
that's right. Yes, yeah, I'm going to start recording, and not all of them, but some of them.
Right. Right.
And
okay.
I'll start. I always note which version I'm recording with, so I'll start again.
I get that all the time. People, can you do an Altium how-to or an Eagle how-to, how to use the package? And like, no.
Did you go up to the newest Altium, the 16 or something? That just
No,
came out?
I've never used it. No,
I know,
I'm
okay.
still using Altium 10.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like seriously, I'm way behind. I'm like 5 years behind.
Yeah, but I mean, like again, it's
Yep.
the same devil kind of thing,
It's
right? And
no,
also you're a cheap
it's
ass.
the one I I have the license for it.
Right,
I'm not going to
exactly.
go out and pay $5-6 grand for Altium.
Yeah.
Screw that.
Right,
So I'm
exactly.
going to stick with the one I have a license for. And it does the job. I
Yeah.
mean, it does more than what I need.
Right, exactly.
1,000 times more than what I need.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So another thing that I don't think well, I guess we talked about it when the SuperCon was over, but I had done the badge for that, and that was actually all SVG stuff. Did we talk about that? Maybe we did.
SVG.
Yeah. So basically, I actually drew the majority of that badge in like Inkscape like program, so like a vector graphics kind of thing. So
Right.
I drew everything to scale. So I knew how big I wanted the badge to be, so I drew that just doing 300 DPI. So I basically drew, I think it was 900 by 1600 tall.
Why is this
badge.
not done in the PCB package? Why? I don't understand.
Because I was putting artwork onto it, and it needed to be to scale, right?
Ah, right. Yes, that's a unique requirement. That
Yes, very much so. And
Right.
so, yeah, I was just kind of playing around with that, and then I just basically created each layer and kind of did an overlay, and that's ultimately, basically I can create an entire graphical layer there, and then I just convert the whole thing to copper or solder mask or whatever I needed, and I could just do overlays like that. And the reason I say as much so is because Sar from Boldport, he's the one who created PCB mode, which is another similar SVG based. I mean, that's
Okay.
the basis of PCB mode is that it's SVG based, and you have to be a little bit more careful with the overlays and stuff. But the net result of it is that you can make Sar makes some beautiful designs, and so beautiful that he got published in. I'm not sure the connection. I didn't get that part, but they were published in like a fashion magazine.
What?
Yeah, that's the Haute Circuits on.
Okay.
That's the link on our subreddit. But like these circuits are just gorgeous. You know, like they really are like very very artistic and just like I don't. I'm sure the story's in here, but yeah, it's just really cool. And he mentions the tool as well. But just checking out the pictures because the circuits are just their artwork. You know, it's really neat. So and that's
I can dig it.
That's kind of the thing is like I've been playing with that a lot for because I like putting custom logos on boards and stuff like that. I mean, you do that for your boards too, right? You do the little.
Oh yeah.
What's the flow like for yours?
But they're not vector. But they're not vector artwork. They're just converted bitmaps, and they're pretty crusty. You know, like they're just bitmap. You know, images that I use a script to convert it into like a bitmap. You know, traces and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, that's ultimately what I do too. I mean, so I did SVG to start with to do all the layers and get all that kind of stuff because then it scales. That's what SVG is, scalar vector graphics, is that right? Yeah, and so then everything scales around to whatever size you need, and then I convert it to a PNG, and then that could get imported into KiCad in a similar way, and then that gets put into whatever the format is. I think it's like a G code almost, right? A lot of CAD programs do G code where they describe the lines and that kind of thing. So.
Yeah. I'm looking at these images now, and very artistic. They're completely impractical. They don't do anything.
I wouldn't know what they do. I don't think.
They don't do anything.
But it doesn't matter, like they're just really neat.
It's funny. They got these things in the fashion magazine.
Yeah, and it looks like it's like jewelry overlays too. That's the other thing that's really neat about it. So.
Yep.
Yeah, just really neat.
And your average person probably thinks, "Oh, that's how circuits look like." Not that they even know what a circuit is,
Maybe, yeah. But looking over at PCB mode as well. So it says Python, PyParsing, Inkscape, which is an SVG program as well, and LXML. Right. And so that's kind of the stack that creates that stuff as well.
Got it.
So if you want to do art, you can do it with circuit boards. It's
woohoo!
Yeah. There's an article about that. Voya, the guy who I interviewed when I was in Serbia, he started writing for Hackaday, and he did an article about. He was actually more about the containers, like the enclosures. He made a bunch of PCB enclosures.
Oh, okay.
That were really neat.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, those are kind of art as well. Like it's just like how
totally
super clean lines and.
Yeah, and making front panels or enclosures from boards.
Right,
yeah.
And you've done that a bunch too, right?
It's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
I've done that a lot. Yep.
Yeah,
I can dig it. All right, another week, another merger.
Who? Really? Did I miss one?
yeah, I think you missed one. Apparently, Micro Semi bought PMC Sierra.
Oh, okay.
They outbid Skyworks, whoever the hell Skyworks are.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And apparently, the total number of semiconductor acquisitions in 2015, considering that it's almost over, 2015, geez, that's scary, has eclipsed $100 billion. So just this year alone, there's been $100 billion worth of acquisitions in the semiconductor business. Yep.
And if people don't know, Microsemi is kind of a known name, but they're the ones who bought Actel. Yep. Actel being the FPGA vendor.
Yep. And they've bought PMC Sierra, who you might not know, but they do like networking chips, I think, and stuff like that.
Okay.
RAID controllers and like real specific,
very
drivers
computationally focused kind of stuff where it's commercial level hardware.
If you're not in the networking business, you probably don't use their chips.
Yeah.
You probably can't even get them on Mouser or DigiKey.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of FPGAs, there was a discussion over on Hacker News about the FPGA bit streams and stuff like that. There's been a couple people. I think it's with the ICE 40 that's been going on, I believe. Right. But there's been a lot of push for that.
Push for what?
For hacking, reverse engineering the bit stream for the ICE 40. I've seen this mentioned a bunch of times.
But the bit stream's documented, isn't it?
No, but being able to actually generate one then, right? So if you wanted to run your own stack, normally you'd have to You'd have to still use
all the tools
all their
to
tools,
generate
right?
all their tools to generate the bit streams.
Right.
Yeah, but I thought it was documented. I thought you always could if you wanted to.
Yeah.
If you're keen enough.
I've never ever operated that level.
No,
I barely understand it, to be honest. The things that I understand about the bitstream level is basically you're serially programming around the edge of the chip, right? And then you're telling, and then that ends up flipping gates. That ends up.
It sets cells inside the FPGA,
Yeah.
both I/O around plus the FPGA fabric itself and all the hardcore peripherals. The hard peripherals and everything. Each chip is unique.
Yeah.
Let alone each vendor. Each chip has its own bitstream format, and that's why the tools are so complicated.
Well, I think that the interesting question would be, okay, say it got to the point where it was actually like something that affected a FPGA company's business. Would they go for broke and just like change future bit streams? You know what I mean? Like, because then it would end up affecting their older parts as well.
Oh no, that'd break their tools.
Right,
no,
right.
no, that's bad. No, I think they wouldn't. They don't touch that at any cost.
Yeah, I wonder though. Like, I'm sure a lot of it's not fear based, but just business model based. For a long time, one of the things that keeps FPGA makers, differentiated is that they have their own tool chains, and it's very tied to the hardware and stuff like that. You get the tools for free because you have to buy the hardware from them. Yeah. But I do wonder.
Well, you don't get the highest of the high end tools for free.
Oh, true. That's true. That's true.
Generally,
yeah. But what I wonder though is if it did so happen that that started to drive. Like Lattice is usually not listed at the top of the FPGA, the big four.
No, they're down. They're like own 1% of the market.
Yeah, I usually list them at number 4. But if that started to drive adoption, that would be really interesting because then
I don't think it's going to drive adoption. It's going to drive nothing. It's nice hack. Okay, great. Okay, if the information's not out there, then it's fantastic that people are reverse engineering and putting it out there. But it's going to amount to hill of beans. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I think
people
you've done a lot more stuff.
Look, the stream is open. I can write my own thing. Oh, I'm going to use those chips because of that. No, rubbish.
No, I think some people will. I mean, no,
of course, but 0.0001%.
Like actually driving adoption in the industry. You mean like
it's not going to drive adoption in the industry.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right.
If you think that, you've got no clue.
Right. And it's we should also mention. I think we've brought this up before though. And Clifford.at is a site that I've seen before, but this is Yosis. Yosis is like one of the flows, and so there's videos about this stuff. We can add links, and so I mean, this has been a project that's going on for a while, and people always mention in the comments that it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, I mean to get to that, but I don't even touch FPGAs anymore. So, I mean that's another thing is just like general adoption in the first place, right? Because the cost it adds to a project, it's not like micros are getting more expensive; they're going the other direction. So, adoption is. Actually, there was a talk at the SuperCon about that. Crud, I forgot his name, but he showed there was like a cycle where FPGAs and micros kind of keep inverting. It was like a sine wave pattern of like inversion.
In what sense?
In terms of what people were. I guess no, it wasn't. Sorry, it wasn't micros. It was FPGAs versus ASICs, and what people are investing in.
Right. I was going to say.
Yeah, no, right. That's true. And it was a really interesting take on it because I mean it kind of followed I think fab technologies as well. Those videos are coming out soon, so I'm sure we'll be able to link to it later. But it was interesting because there is you do kind of see these trends as well of like. Kind of focuses on flexible logic versus hard logic versus flexible logic, and a lot of it's based on when you can get cheap fab time and
of course,
availability and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
okay,
yeah,
I guess the market could cycle.
Yeah, no, I mean he had an interesting chart about that. I think that he.
Okay. Yep. No, that would not surprise me at all.
Yeah. So yeah, FPGAs.
That's it.
Still
FPGAs.
Still
for the win. They're the future.
Yeah, the future and the past and everything else.
Oh, B.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Speaking of the past, not that long ago, I was in last week when Michael and Dan were on the show. We were kind of talking about getting started in electronics, and there was some really interesting feedback from listeners, stuff like that. And the reason I asked those guys on, not just because I knew them, but also because, we have new people listening all the time, and a lot of people are getting started. A couple of guys that I've been mentoring, though, they're not the only ones, but they've basically moved up another level in abstraction levels, and that's something we were talking about last time, where when people are getting started, you can run into a roadblock really quickly in terms of being frustrated and saying screw this. So this is like a kit now where it's more like it's just integration pieces, even more so than Arduino. It's like plugging blocks together, and that's like a little bits as well. But this one being like a ongoing educational thing. So
is this something you're doing?
This is not me. These are some guys that I've been mentoring and working with. It's Oscar and David. So. Yeah.
So they're working on something, are they?
Yeah. It's a new thing coming out, and there's other people that are doing this too. So this is like a subscription base. So there's other guys. Actually, there's some Aussie guys, Pirate Electronics. There's Tron Club, and those kind of it shows up at your door every month, kind of with tutorials attached, that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Got it.
So yeah, it's really good.
Old school.
Yeah, it's. What do you mean old school?
Oh, it's just, when I was a boy, in the back of the magazines, you'd have, join this club and we'll send you a thing per month,
Oh, really?
Send us, 20. That was all the rage,
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. I'm talking like 70s,
Well,
yep.
Yeah, you're old, man.
Yeah, everything was mail order.
That's true. Yeah, makes sense.
And every month we'll send you a thing. They still kind of do it even today. At the newsagent, they'll have these magazines. Build a car. Build a model car, and each month you buy the magazine, and it gives you 2 parts. And then
right.
So you've got to buy 100 copies of the magazine to get all the parts.
Right.
To build your.
Oh, okay. So you don't mean with electronics. So you mean with other stuff, or with electronics too?
Oh, no. Also with electronics.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Okay. Back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Neat. Yeah. So it's interesting going forward. I mean, I don't know. It was an interesting discussion last time, just because we do get a lot of struggles. I mean, you probably get these questions a lot too, just about people getting started. How overwhelming it can be for people. So, and you and I often skip around on the show here about how deep we actually go on stuff. So yeah, it's
although
tough.
I don't find that, I don't hear at all really that people have get frustrated and fed up and just give up.
Well,
although
you wouldn't
I
hear
guess
from them.
I guess I was going to say you wouldn't. So I guess it's a selective bias. The people I hear from are, I built this and it was so fantastic. I followed your video. And,
yeah, right, exactly.
I built this and it didn't work, but I had so much fun and I'm building another one, and
yeah, it's you probably wouldn't hear from the ones that
the ones that just gave it up.
Yeah.
No, they just would just give it up and wouldn't bother contacting anyone.
Yeah,
or telling anyone about it. So there you go.
So what have you been building these days? Anything? Building?
I'm building. I'm getting. I've got my new product here. I'm trying to order it.
Oh, fancy.
Although I'm trying. Yeah. Although the shipping. It's
What, overseas shipping, bulk order stuff?
Overseas, we're talking $2,500 shipping.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Yikes!
Yeah.
Is there anything you can do about that kind of thing or no?
Well, even the slow boat, right? Even the slow boat from China is still $1,500. It's well, do you spend $2,500? Do you spend $1,500? Which
That's really weird. I thought I remember someone telling me some ridiculously low rates for containers, for an entire
Oh, if you fill a container and stuff like that, yeah. But this is not, this is a couple of 100 kilos. This is not container worthy.
Well, but what I mean, if it was low enough cost, wouldn't it be that it would be the? I mean, that's the thing. I don't understand how that stuff works.
You can fit a lot of stuff in a container.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they're huge. But But what I'm saying is if someone told me it was $300 or $500 for a container, which seems ridiculously low.
No.
Okay, so then maybe that was just a bad number then.
That's maybe space in a container. That wouldn't be a container. That's just nuts.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm just thinking about the amount of fuel that it requires. I mean, I know that you're getting it shipped with everything else, but then all like the handling and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't understand how that stuff works. So
yep. Anyway,
is it? Well, I wonder if it's more because it's going to Australia too, just because you guys have kind of a higher cost around there.
Well, like it's closer. It's a long way to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, no. If I want to send it airmail, FedEx, which is still a cheap rate for FedEx. If I wanted to send this, it'd cost $20,000, not $2,000. Because in China they get really excellent FedEx rates.
Yeah, right.
I think you pay I think it's like $4 a kilo.
Yeah.
Or something for FedEx rates, and to me that is cheap. That's like dirt cheap,
Right.
Holy crap! I would love to be able to send stuff FedEx $4 a kilo
with no regard to volume. Is that?
Yeah, because they, these companies already have contracts with the, FedEx, and that's their rate. So they just,
Interesting.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know that logistics stuff.
Totally
it's just such a mess, though. I don't think I've mentioned it on here, but someone sent, or I think I saw a link on Twitter at one point. You can actually go to marinetraffic.com and actually watch ships. I'm looking at the Sydney Harbor right now and all the different ships that are in there.
So that's the boring version of Flight Radar 24.
Yeah, right, Flight Aware or whatever that's called. Yeah,
at least you can watch them land. They're actually moving pretty quick.
Well, if you time lapse this thing, right? But it's cool because you can just kind of see where they're coming from.
How many
too.
ships are? Yeah.
There's some big stuff. Not all of them.
That's if you even know what ship you're on. I don't even know that you can track what stuff your ship's on. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not that experienced with surface shipping.
Yeah.
Like we're so used to FedEx tracking.
Right. It's been received in this port of this airport.
It's gone through Kansas Airport.
Right.
And it's gone through the hub and it's now on the next flight. You can track it. But ships, can you do that? I don't know. Anyone out there with experience? Maybe, I don't know. Or you just don't bother because it's by ship and it takes so long, so you don't really care about.
Right.
Right. Oh, it'll get there eventually.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So I think what I'll do is I'll end up getting some shipped via airmail, and so I've got some stock, and then the rest will just be shipped via, slow boat.
Gotcha.
So just to save, because hey, it is cost in the end.
Yeah, man, and that ends up getting passed on. So that's definitely a product thing you got to think about.
But even per piece cost, it's still, it sounds like a lot. I've got to pay a couple of $1,000 to get this shipped. Are you kidding me? But when you look at it as a per piece cost, it's you go, oh, is that all? Like nothing.
Right.
So if they told you a per piece cost for shipping, you wouldn't bat an eyelid. You wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
It's cents per unit, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But when when the bill comes in for for a couple of grand, you go, holy crap.
Right. You just got to divide by products, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
that'll help you swallow it,
Yeah,
but then you got to ship it back out, and that gets done to whoever's buying it. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've been designing. Actually, I forgot I put this as a proposed topic on the subreddit, but I've been trying to. I've been making all these little boards, and I know we've talked about it before, but just like the hassles of cabling, like board to board connections.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And what I was just going to ask you is what do you normally do for board to board connections? Do you assume you're going to have to go custom for cabling, or do you?
Oh, I try and avoid cabling at all costs. I try and do direct pin header connections. And,
so stacked boards, that kind of thing.
Yes, stacked boards.
Yep.
Daughter boards on top of motherboards. That plug in with 0.1-inch headers, and or if it's high speed and I'm designing something high speed, I'm going to use like a high speed Samtec board to board interconnect.
Oh man, and those are pricey
or something
too,
like that.
But yeah.
Oh no. I'm a bit of a Samtec fanboy. They're not too bad, Generally, if you're doing something high speed,
I like their stuff
generally,
too.
Generally by definition, almost the product is going to be expensive, high end, so you don't really worry about,
so you're just saying you're not saying that it's not expensive. You're saying you're just prepared for it.
I'm just prepared for it. Yes, it's a $2, $4 connector, but in the scheme of things,
Well, that's the thing. So that's the struggle I've been having is when you really start to add it up, it's like, okay, First off, I know better. I'm not going to be doing custom cables. Like I'm just.
That
is
even though they're cheap. Like you go to China, you want to get a custom cable made. It's cheap, but it's just extra hassle.
Yeah.
It's extra. You've got to do diagrams for it. You've got to, it's an extra bomb item you just don't want. It's like.
Right.
Yeah, I try and avoid it at all costs.
Right, I know, and that's I was talking to another friend about the cabling thing too, and I actually mentioned, I was like, that is probably one of the smartest things about Little Bits, the little plug together platform, is like they've got that. I mean, it's not a cheap solution with little magnets and the molded plastic and stuff, but
no, that's right.
Yeah. That's effectively a proprietary board to board connector, and it's really nice. I mean, and that's what there's other magnetic connectors out there, but.
Well, that's what makes their product. Otherwise, their product is nothing.
Right, that's true. Yeah, well, they're little boards then, right? Yeah, so that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and
it's all about the interconnect, and I'll often these types of decisions will often totally drive the look and feel of my final product.
That's true, right? You might try and squeeze more stuff onto a single board because it'll be cheaper.
Right. David too, and I are working on a little product at the moment. When we shouldn't be, we should be working on the micro supply, but I don't know. We just got a bit infatuated by this, So we're doing our own custom case and everything, and it's like, well, how do we do the batteries? And the battery was like driving this whole thing, and we'll go, oh, no, we can get, we're going to use a 9-volt battery now, we've decided. So we're going to actually mold the case around the 9-volt battery.
Yeah.
And then, so it's
because you can get just the metal connectors, the through-hole connectors for 9 volts. Where you,
for the board. So we're getting those,
That's
but
nice,
we're actually building the mold, we can just buy a PCB mount 9-volt battery that holds it in place, right?
Oh,
one of those Keystone ones or whatever.
Yeah.
You can just buy those, whack it on, job done, solution done. But then we're going, we still need sponge in the back of the case to hold the battery in place to stop it, falling out.
So your molded plastic is going to have like a retention feature in the plastic?
It's going to have a retention feature all molded into the case. So we're buying off the shelf 9-volt contacts that just solder into the board.
Ones, right,
just the metal bits, even though we could actually, Dave's going, we can make those on our own, we can get those custom manufactured too.
Son.
And I'm going, no, calm down, son. Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
And, so the whole look and feel of the product is driven around how we're going to connect this battery into the damn thing.
And what you're really doing is you're front loading into the mold. Like the mold will be probably more expensive. It might have different slides and draws and all that crap that mechanical people do. But ultimately, shooting plastic, a little extra plastic is a drop in the bucket.
Well, this is going to be a die-cast alloy. This is like a, die-cast alloy case.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this is not a plastic case. It needs shielding.
Oh,
so
I
it
see.
needs,
okay. Cool. Yeah. So I mean that kind of stuff. Yeah. Then if it's that's like a nominal cost difference, and you really could save. It's like more upfront stuff, but.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's elegant and it solves, and then once we decide to do the custom case that molds the battery in, then we can start molding in the connectors because this has got connectors coming in and out. Right?
Yep.
So, how do they get mounted on the case? Traditionally, you physically mount them. You screw them onto their panel mount, right? But hey, we don't need to do that. We can right angle mount them on the PCB and we can mold our case directly around the connectors.
That's dangerous.
Right? So that they're not,
That's, I would be less... I don't know, like when because now the connector's like a mating connection with something else, right? I don't know what you're connecting with, but now you have to conform to someone else's. So the only reason I say as much is that I've made a custom molded terminal block connector before, and that was just really dangerous, to be honest.
Right, but we're doing the custom case anyway, so it's like once you're doing the custom case, you can solve multiple problems.
Yes, I do agree with that.
In the one hit.
Yeah.
Right, so this becomes then more elegant, so then you don't have to panel mount screw the connectors on there and then have flying wires going over
and that's
or whatever.
True. And usually panel mounted or just connectors in general, that's a huge that's another thing I think that a lot of people don't realize is just like the cost associated with cabling and connectors and all that other stuff.
It's extra assembly time and everything fiddling around.
Oh yeah, sure. You need you can't do through hole, or you can't do SMT. You can't just do singular SMT assembly. You need a through hole component now too.
And it's not as robust. I've got to admit, it's not necessarily as robust, but as mounting the big B&C on the side of the die-cast case with a big, screw and bolts and
yeah, right.
Right?
No, yeah.
But it's an acceptable compromise that you're lowering your assembly cost and time, and everything can be
right. And then hopefully over time you can also start to you can revise that as you learn things about this wiggles, so I can you tighten up those tolerances, that kind of thing.
Right.
So no, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So
and we think we can. We think we can. It's cost effective at a few hundred units. Getting this custom die-cast case. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, once you go into the custom stuff, it can be addicting though. You know what I mean? Like I could throw a custom solution at this, and it's like sometimes you got to scale it back. Then you got to be like, oh no.
That's what David too is all gun ho about. Like, cause he's a custom China fanboy. I can get everything custom made in China. So he'll do up a 3D model and just go send it out. And give no thought to it. Yeah. Whereas sometimes I've got to bring him back down to earth that it's not necessarily the most practical thing to have a custom part for absolutely everything.
Right, because then you think about the sourcing issues. One of the nice things about not doing custom is drop-in replacements or just even any semblance of replacements is,
Sometimes there's, a lot to be said for having your BOM all from DigiKey.
Yeah, sure.
And it's in the BOM tool in my microcurrent's almost like that. I can just hit a button in DigiKey and order 1,000 boards worth of parts, right? It's all in there.
Or at least a lower accuracy version of yours, right? Because you've got the accurate component. Don't you have that really fancy one?
Even that's available from DigiKey, but it's a matter of lead time and stuff like that. It's a matter of availability. But no, technically, almost everything I can order at the push of a button.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Can be done.
Well, my solution so far has been I'm basically chasing back to the cabling thing. I'm chasing existing cables that are out there. Not necessarily, they're not, when you think about it, every cable is, it's...
What existing cables are out there? I mean, you're talking 0.1-inch headers or bust.
No.
Right, ribbons or something.
You can do 0.1 inch cables as well, but I'm actually doing 2 millimeter. Actually, I'm borrowing the Grove system. So Seed Studio has this little 4-pin. They use a 4-pin JST header,
right?
And then they fabricate and sell cables.
Oh, right. So you're using an off-the-shelf cable in that respect?
Yes, and it's it's still hand assembled, but basically it's like I don't have to. I can just buy it.
It's a BOM item,
right?
Yeah. No, you can just buy
it. And that's been kind of my compromise there. I was looking at other ones too. You could, when you think about it, like you could, in theory, if you wanted to, you could co-opt a USB cable, right? And I've seen that before.
Right.
Not USB, but I've seen that for Ethernet. People co-opting Ethernet or just RJ45 in general with some kind of custom cable plugged into that, and they're just. It seems like a good idea at the time because you see, there's all these RJ45s or RJ22s or, what DB9s, right? DB9s and DB15s, like people using those all the time. And, I've even done that before. However, then you have to be super explicit in like, this is not a serial port or this is not a, like this is not a... DB25 is not always a parallel port, right? Kind of thing,
Well, it depends on how much space you've got in your product. Like I've, developed lots of custom production test gear where I'm making 10 of something, right? So I'm not going to get a custom cable or I'm not going to personally build up the custom cable to do it, right? But if I'm building something into, say, a 19-inch rack, which I've done countless things on, right? When you've got like a big 19-inch rack, you might have 5 boards in there. Okay, how do I interconnect all these boards? Well, as you said, if it's not high-frequency stuff, you might just use like a PCB mount D connector.
Yeah.
Right. So you just
like slide together, right?
You just use a D9. Okay, right angle D9. I've got plenty of room inside this case. I can just go to the local computer store and order a D9 to D9 cable. Yeah, it's a meter long. I'll just curl it up. There's plenty of room inside the 19-inch rack case. And I'll just connect the 2 boards together. Horribly inefficient and
ugly.
But I've gone into low volume production 10, 20, 30 units with stuff like that.
Yeah, right. And it's just,
and there's nothing wrong with it.
And that's the thing. And the better thing would be to make it all on one board, but maybe that's, sometimes you start getting outside
sometimes you
get outside the size that a PCB can be, right? Like that's another problem where it's like,
well, sometimes, but often, I've got milestones to meet, so I'm going to do the front end board. Okay, I've got to show that at next week's design review meeting. So I'm just going to design and build the front end board. Tick. Task done. I can show actual progress, right? So that's going to be one board. I'll mount that in the case. Then I'll go work on the processor board, or I'll go work on something else, and then I'll just join them all together with D9s or something.
Right.
That's
and
depends on what you're working on.
It would be really nice, So here's a job for someone. Work on these exist, but work on a commercial cabling robot. Just make cabling. I won't say better because it's never going to be good. If you're going board to board with a cable, or even board to just board to wire in general. If you're just wiring into something in general, like power or whatever, it's never good. But just make it. I don't know, make automated machines more accessible. Because it's tough, man. And if people don't know, the way that a lot of cables are made is there's still people crimping individual, there's stripping machines, there's tinning machines, or there's tinning pots and stuff like that.
Even at the level of the penultimate example of highly automated consumer technology, which is your smartphone.
Oh yeah, right.
Open up a smartphone, you'll still find cable assemblies in there joining the LCD over to the thing,
little
right?
Orange, flex.
Yeah, often
flex.
you'll find little,
and that's actually there's a lot of
tablets and things like that. You'll open those up, and you'll find these wiring harnesses in there, and you're going, well, couldn't they find a better solution? Can't they have some press fit board to board contact?
Yeah,
that eliminates the cable. Well, no, obviously not. These people know what they're doing. And if they could have optimized it, they would have.
How about open up a camera? I'm sure you've torn one down or multiples down before, right?
I did one recently. I tore down a 1980s
but that was an older one. I'm just saying,
one,
even the new cameras, you think about how they're getting around some of those angles. That's just
flat flex and everything else.
Exactly.
But sometimes a cable bundle with physical wires.
Yep.
And a like a Molex type header, a tiny pitch Molex header connector is the way to go.
Yeah.
And
it sucks. as someone who started his career modifying in an AutoCAD the cabling drawings. Oh.
Right.
that was my engineering job. My first internship.
Open up, monitors and huge big consumer LCD TVs and stuff like that. And there's custom cable assemblies everywhere up to the wazoo.
Right.
Right.
And actually, if you really want to, if people want to really see, or just look up car harnesses, that's on the extreme end, because they'll have a single harness assembly, and it's got the LIN bus and the CAN bus and all this stuff that's in there, and power and whatever. But it's a single thing, and then they just snake that sumbitch right through the center of the car. It's nuts. Just look.
They don't think anything
look for pictures,
about designing a custom cable.
No, it has to be cable.
Whatever solution they know. Well, it's got to be, right? Yeah.
Right.
Because they're so far apart, right? Yeah, you can't have, some press fit board to board.
Right. And you'll if you ever talk to a cabling manufacturer and you say car harness, they kind of get this starry look in their eye because it's cha-ching, just all the things you have to put onto it. It's just that's where
your
a lot
modern
of money
car would have hundreds.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be dozens. It'd have hundreds of cabling harnesses.
Yeah, it's
custom,
fantastic.
Each one.
But I'll try and post a picture or two. But they're just look up on Google image search. It's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah. So that's my thing for now. I was a little actually surprised at the Grove one itself. I haven't done much stuff with obviously Seed's been doing tons of stuff lately. But it was surprising me because it was it's a 4-pin connector, and they say it's just standard, but then it's power, ground, and then other. And it's sometimes it's 2 digital, parallel pins. Sometimes it's I2C. Sometimes it's analog pins. I'm I guess you should just need to plug the right thing into the right thing, or else. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, and I won't be plugging into any of their stuff. So They had a board that I posted I didn't get a chance to look into it too much, but it was called the YO, I think it's called. It's a little IoT. Yeah, the YO Link IoT.
Oh God. No.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's got those connectors that I'm talking about, the Grove connectors on there. So
Right.
yeah, you can check it out. I mean, it's a lot of these. It's just another. But it's again like we talked about with the getting started. People just having an app and having a circuit board in the hand. There's some power to that, right? So
Right.
this is a neat little platform for that kind of thing, and it ties into if this then that. So that's kind of cool too.
Got it.
One thing we have to mention. Sorry,
Oh, yeah,
I have to mention it. Did you see the ARM1 gate level simulation thing? I don't know when this came out.
No.
But it is so friggin' cool.
Is this on the list?
Yeah, it's ARM1 gate level simulation.
Oh, yeah, it's way down the
Yeah,
list. Right,
so
yeah.
visual6502.org, that URL looks really familiar, like we've seen that before.
Yes, we have.
But this, it's visually showing like all of the gates in an ARM1.
Oh, yeah, that's insane. That's
so
insane.
cool. I mean, people just
Yeah.
got to...
And it's accurate, right? It's 100% reverse engineered accurate,
I don't know.
isn't it? I think it is.
Sure, yes, sure, yeah.
Yeah, they got it's right on the front page. They got the ARM1 geometry provided under the end user license agreement from ARM Limited. So it's going to be
Oh yeah,
it's going to be the real deal.
Yeah, why would they? I mean, this is ARM1. Like we're on ARM7 now, right? So like this is not like this is new.
No, yeah,
this
yeah.
is
No, this is the original
early
ARM1.
Acorn.
I've torn down a computer. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
torn down an Acorn computer
Yeah.
which used the ARM1. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Anything visual like
Wow.
this. I mean, so you can like zoom in and see the ALU and click around and drag and stuff like that, and it's just
Oh, it's even 3-dimensional. You can pan.
yes,
Holy
yeah,
crap! And you can use your mouse wheel to
yep,
zoom in. Holy goodness.
yeah, or ZX. So yeah, and like
It doesn't really like show you much. It's just super cool.
yeah, it's like
You know,
it's like
like-
you'd want to have this running in the background, but it also is showing like all the registers and stuff like that. It'd be cool if you could like. Well, no, I'm not saying that because it's not like I'm going to write assembly for this thing, but it's running some kind of
Right.
code, right? But I think the really interesting thing about this stuff is like what I always forget about is just like the size difference between pads and the actual transistors. Obviously, this is
Oh,
when
yeah, right.
transistors were a lot larger as well.
Yeah.
But like, it's really just interesting seeing how they're driving all the way out to the edge, and that's what you and I ever see, right? We never see any of these
Yep.
guts. It's just it's always just pins, and man, there's a lot of stuff going on in there. So
Yep.
yeah,
Magic.
really neat. So just whoever did that, it's awesome.
This is like as nerdy as it gets. I mean, really.
Yeah. And there's a donation page, so people can do that too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, donate. That's insane.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Actually, yeah, there are other pages too. They apparently have a 6502, 6800, and then just die shots
Yep.
of other stuff as well. So
And I'm pretty sure they're all gate level accurate. These are all gate level accurate simulations.
yeah,
So just
I mean, I
just
wouldn't know any
crazy,
otherwise.
Oh no, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Like you just know. Like you just have to take their word for it that it's gate level accurate.
Yeah.
You know.
God, that's really
Oh.
cool. So yeah,
Yep.
people should check that out. That might make one or two people be like, making chips. I can go for that.
Or you can just buy your $5 Raspberry Pi computer. Let's not go there.
Oh, yeah, you could.
No.
We
Yeah.
mentioned that last week a little bit. It's not news.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
well, just
right.
from an education standpoint. So yeah,
They've got to be making a loss on that.
I don't know. Sure,
You can't, come on.
sure.
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah.
What else is here? We're running low on time, although I have to cut out some of the.
We're over time. What are you
Well,
talking
I'll
about?
have to
no,
cut
you don't
out
have to cut out anything.
I'll cut out some of the stuff. Come on, let's be honest here.
No, come on, Jesus. What are you doing? Like, you don't. You're such a fanny fusspot when it comes to editing the show.
Yeah, that's me. That was my nickname at home.
Right. Unbelievable.
What else is here? So there was this the workforce scrambling for alternative thing. There was something I wanted to mention to you
What?
about that. There was about China basically running out of
Right.
cheap labor.
Oh, I saw that running out. Yes, because I was speaking to the CEO of Siglent the other day.
Yeah,
And,
right.
which is a
I saw
video
that
up there.
Right,
And he confirmed that, yes, in the last 5 years, labor in China has more than doubled.
Oh, well, we knew that,
in
though.
cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it's nothing, but this is like the CEO of a test and measurement company, confirming.
Yeah.
There's not only like, assembly type workers, but engineers, more than double
Right.
and stuff like that. It's just, and he went like, holy crap, this is like, it's not cheap anymore.
Right. Well, and yeah, I mean,
so,
to tie it back to the cabling discussion, like the reason so many cables can be made, the reason I can buy those Grove cables, it's like it's done by hand. It's people, and the only way you keep that cost down is labor costs. So yeah, it's just keep chasing cheap labor. It's I don't fault anyone for wanting higher wages. That's they should.
No. They deserve it.
So ultimately, what's going to happen though is just more and more robotics. And I thought that's what there must have been a different article though. Just robots, man. It's really like, and it's automation as well, and it's that kind of stuff. But like,
well, and there's consolidation as well. Like in this case, they're trying to consolidate. Like Seed Studio are trying to consolidate on this type of connector. Right, and these cables, which is great because then it allows you to get the volume required, right?
Well, and then and then eventually
on something, they can.
Yeah, that's true. And then eventually, if the volume got up enough, then someone would build a robot to, get the cost down on that thing, and yeah.
Here it is. They're selling a 5-pack of these cables for 95 cents.
Yes, right.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
A 5-pack of 5-centimeter cables for 95 cents.
Yeah.
Why? If you're designing a product and you just, you could wire it, you could choose pretty much any connector. Why wouldn't you choose this? Like,
yeah,
it's just bad.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, but someone's got to make that, and so there's not a lot of margin in there, obviously. Right, and so.
Oh, sorry, that's a 50% off sale. They got 50% off.
But still, that means they're making less.
Regularly $1.90.
Sure, whatever. Like,
and it's still making a profit on that.
Yeah,
like,
right. Exactly. You wouldn't sell it if you weren't making. Well, over time, you wouldn't sell it if you weren't making money. So even $2 for 5 cables is cheap. So and so. I mean, you're just going to see this more and more. I was talking to an automation person the other day. It's just like there's such a focus on it, in terms of machine design, and then eventually, right now, a lot of machine design is super custom as well. But then over time, you'll start to get, we've seen this with like Baxter the robot and other, more human-like, dexterous robots. You start to generalize around those kind of robots, or more like an ABB arm or one of those KUKA robots. Right. You start to generalize around that so that it could be multi-purpose. Right now they're all custom, but eventually they'll move to a more multi-purpose. The cost on those will drop, and then those will get integrated a lot more places too.
You can't beat custom
machines. No, of course
to
you
do
can't.
Stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree. But eventually, if the volume gets up enough, then the cost of making a low-cost robotic arm that you could buy more of than a engineer making a custom thing, it might be worthwhile. Right. There's a balance point there, right?
Perhaps.
It's the same argument we were talking about with cabling and anything else, like custom versus standard. Eventually there's a crossover point because the custom has, like David too is the custom piece right now. He's designing that stuff for you. He's the expensive piece. So
yes, yeah, exactly.
Right? I mean, it could be if the material cost of that 9-volt connector you were talking about was cheap enough, you'd probably say, David, maybe we shouldn't do this, But
no, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so there's always that balance point, and so even if it's a better solution to make a custom robot for moving something around, you might not do it. You might not care, and so it's gonna be interesting going forward, for sure.
The future's always interesting. What are you talking about? This is somehow news to you?
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Anyway,
in the future, we'll have amazing hotel Wi-Fi.
No,
probably
never going to happen.
All right, man.
Just like the chip printer.
Yep. Next week we will have our call-in show. So please, think of your questions, bring your problems, and we'll have a call-in show.
Catch you next time.
See ya.
I originally wanted to do the Amp Hour show on my own. That was my original concept for the Amp Hour, actually, before I got Chris to join me and do this thing. I thought, oh, yeah, I'll do this radio show. This was before the blog. This was before before I did the video blog. And I thought, oh, yeah, I'll do my own podcast show and all, but who the hell wants to...
Yeah, you would have just kept making small talk with yourself.
Yeah, exactly, and it would have been pointless. So, yeah, that's when I roped you in, and...
That's right. Yeah.
There you go.